The Beef and Barnzy Show, brought to you by Bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Road to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Show. I am Barnzy, as usual, joined by the unimitable Beef Stew, back from parts
Phoenix.
unknown. Or Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah, I exchanged hot humidity for hot dry.
Yeah.
So yeah, good time. Got to see some of our friends. Did a few activities, I guess. Yeah, it was a good time. Brady got to hang out at the pool, so he was quite happy. I got to learn how parents of neurotypical children view Brady jumping off the pool ladders when I put that up on my Instagram.
Oh yeah, you got schooled on parenting.
Oh, I can't believe you let him do that. I can't believe you think I can stop him from doing that. I also can't believe that you don't understand that he could be doing things way worse than that.
Yeah.
Well, what happens if he fell? Well, he's pretty smart, so he'll probably realize it was a bad idea and he won't do it again.
Yeah, the old school parenting.
Yeah.
Don't put your finger in that. Never mind. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let him put his finger in electricity sockets, even though that's probably not a big deal because he's not going to put all three in at the same time. But yeah. Anyway, that was just that was just my yeah.
The ability to communicate both ways is essential to all of our parenting styles.
Yes, and Brady communicates with me in his own particular way. He has quite a few of his mother's looks, and I'm not talking about his appearance. But he is extremely agile at climbing. That's his go-to. Yeah. The problem is he probably will, but because he has an incredibly high pain threshold, he definitely isn't as much of a pussy as his father. So yeah. So anyway, what have we been up to, Chris? Not a lot. I got to throw the Hyperdrive a little bit more, the Pearl.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Had like a league makeup, so got to throw that a little bit. I still not 100% sure where it's going to fit in the bag, because it's sort of. I still don't quite really understand where it's going to fit off of the attention star. Like, I don't have a good feel for it because it feels like when it's really shiny, it's quite long. But when I crack the cover a little bit, which is what I tend to do anyway, it feels like it hooks a lot, like just a lot of overall motion, but it doesn't really quit. So I'm still like, yeah, it's definitely
much quicker to me than this,
which is much quicker.
The attention star feels much quicker to me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, but I also feel like I can use the attention star when there's quite a lot of oil in the front part of the lane.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little torn. It's the only thing I know for sure is, for me, it is a step up from the Gremlin, and it is more rounded than the Gremlin. Like that's the definite for me. Where it's going to fit off attention star is like a little bit undetermined at the minute. Yeah, I think it's going to be better for me getting left with this one than it is the Attention Star because I feel like I'm going to have more of a continuous motion.
I feel like the Attention Star is both more responsive and stronger,
And
which is
that,
a rare combination.
I was about to say, and that totally could make sense for what I'm seeing also. It's just I don't quite have enough reps.
I think the cover's cleaner. It gives me off a little bit of Axiom Pearl kind of vibes a little bit, but a little cleaner than Axiom Pearl too to me. I'm going to take it to Thunderbolt for the LBC this weekend. It kind of strikes me as a ball that, I mean, you know how it goes there. I mean, the balls either strike or they don't strike at all. So
yeah, and it tells you pretty quickly.
Yeah, you don't get fooled a lot, but
yeah, like for me, I think that I feel like that Hyperdrive Pearl could be in a 6-ball arsenal for me. I don't feel like that about the Gremlin.
No, I've used the Gremlin a few different ways, and it actually is really, really clean and also responsive, and it transitions from good to out a little quicker than I would like.
And when I say that I wouldn't carry it in a 6-ball arsenal, my problem is it's really good in a much smaller spot. And I don't feel like I can manipulate my hand as much with the way that ball reacts as I can with some of the other balls.
I went to the regional last week and actually had a dull one and a shiny one in there, but also agreed. They don't have one. I also fixed a Zen Gold and put my old pitches and things back in it, to what I'm using. And the versatility range of that ball, I've kind of forgotten. And we tend to do that when we go through a lot of new balls. But
100%.
Wow, I've forgotten that that's my, my sweet
yeah.
spot.
And it's symmetrical ball as well. And you kind of like,
it's a
lean
cleaner
towards
cover
those a
with a
little bit.
pretty big core, and it continues a long time. I can make it hook a lot. I can make it hook a little. Lucas, I personally liked the Hyperdrive Pearl just a little bit cracked.
Me too.
It's so clean that it'd be a pretty good low end ball, but then the core is monstrous, and so I just feel like it makes it way more versatile by just lightly getting some of that polish on.
And then I see it, Eli. Just give me 1 second, because somebody asked. I think it's much stronger than the X2. For me, I thought the X2 was way, 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 way weaker overall.
Well, the X2 I think is more responsive as well.
Yeah, possibly so.
For me, I thought once it saw some friction, I could really make it corner without having to twirl it. I think the Hyperdrive is more rounded, which I think also makes the Hyperdrive Pearl potentially way more versatile and usable.
Yeah, I think
time too.
From what I've seen from it, I think you're going to end up using that a lot of the time that some of the guys use the Attention Star because you don't really like the Attention Star.
Yeah,
and I also don't feel like with the way you see the lane that you need like a million Pearl asymmetrical balls. Like for me, I don't mind carrying 4 or 5 of those around when we drive. For you, that's like a ball that you're just not in as long. So you kind of like, you don't need more than 1 or 2.
Yeah, it has a spot, but
thanks for the chat. He says, I plan on drilling a Hyperdrive Pearl this week. I'm not sure if it's worth it because I already have Origin and Attention Star, and I like both of those. I definitely think the argument could be made that this is going to kind of sit somewhere in the same ballpark. I think if you were to get one, and I kind of don't like changing layouts that much, between the same sort of balls, I think you could make the argument that the Gremlin would gap those 2 balls you have already better. Like, you would get a different motion. I think that this is going to be Origin minus, so to speak.
I think it's cleaner cover than the Origin.
Yeah.
Very similar shape-wise.
Yes. So if you are going to drill it and your origin isn't drilled super weak already, I would probably lean towards drilling the hyperdrive a little bit, half an inch maybe weaker than the origin to try and gap those two balls a little bit. Because I think you're going to end up, unless you're carrying 20 balls around on a regular basis, you're going to end up with 2 or 3 balls there that are kind of on top of each other a little bit.
Yeah, Jim says now I have to crack the cover. Well, if it's rolling good already, you don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just a lot of what we're bowling on right now, regional wise, tour wise, even our Bowlero has gone. There's now red and blue oil that Kegel is making for Bowlero centers, and we're on the blue oil version.
It is slick.
It's a little snug down lane.
Not.
And what?
And then it's not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, transition's been very, very. I've had a 9-bagger and a 10-bagger the last 2 weeks for 720 and 680.
Well,
the tap turns off, and wow, do they get?
When we start at Mel's, I wonder if the ball's ever going to hook.
They feel like they practice for a little while.
I flagged the head pin. The ball is flying down there. The first game, they couldn't be easier. I think I've bowled this season 279, 259, and then I bowled 258 with a stone 9 in the 9th. And they transition so fast.
Yeah, I know it's a version of that, and I think it's more separated than even fire and ice are. But
that wasn't what I heard.
Well, I mean, I think that's what the marketing is anyway. But
I feel like it's an older oil than that.
It seems like it moves around a little bit,
and it transitions so fast.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Louisville's it's its own beast because as you go across different pairs, you really are. The pairs play differently, so it's not just the oils. Little G, I see the Hyperdrive Pearl being a little cleaner than Equinox. Personally,
yeah, I feel like the Hyperdrive covers more boards than the Equinox. It's just I feel like the Equinox is one of those balls that kind of feels like it hooks about the same all the time. It's kind of built to be the, middle of the bag kind of blend.
I got a question for you. So all these patterns lately, all these regionals lately, especially on the 50 side, have looked impossible. The cut, it was plus in the one I went to in Smyrna because it was basically a national tour stop, and it got all the way to plus 25.
Yeah.
Waxahachie was 100 under. Cherokee, North Carolina was 100 under. Ohio had 3 or 4 guys plus. Lanning was the only guy plus at Waxahachie for the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 in Florida before that, or in the South before that, were minus. Why are they so hard? What's making them so hard? Is it, in your opinion? Here's your chance to throw all the shade you want.
In the words of Aristotle, fuck if I know.
Oh, okay. Very profound.
The thing I would say is if professional bowling was very difficult on the national tour level, which I don't believe it is, I think that it would make sense that the training wheels or the training ground would be a difficult experience because you would have less able bowlers bowling. The average bowler in a regional is worse than the average bowler who bowls on a national stop, obviously. That's not rocket science. So the lanes don't break down quite as easily. But they're just not that difficult when we bowl on the national tour. So it feels like they've almost got it totally the opposite way around. In my mind. Because I don't feel like we do something to the lanes when we bowl on the national tour that, lo and behold, makes them like, I never feel like we practice and I'm like, ooh, these are going to be tricky.
Yeah, it's interesting because the national tour, you're like, I mean, one, I do feel like our legends patterns, which are supposed to be the regional / senior tour patterns, that are at least at one point were considerably easier, higher scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like all those patterns are basically pretty much the exact same as all these patterns. In Nebraska, they did bowl in the same pattern back to back, PBA 50, then regular. The seniors struggled. I think again, 3 people plus, maybe 4, and the kids whacked them. So I'm not sure if it's the ability to use urethane. Is it the rev rates blow the lane up enough to make it playable? Which would then go towards the left-handed philosophy of we don't have enough people in the lane to break it down. That's why we're not keeping up. Argument again.
That's a thought, but the last 2 regionals I've bowled, there hasn't been really a urethane ball used, certainly on the right side.
Well, Planet this weekend, they're going to bowl in the same pattern they bowled on Waxahachie last weekend, I believe.
What for? They're going to bowl on Billy Hardwick.
I think it's Hardwick.
Okay,
that's what I heard. I didn't check it, but
so the rumors are it's going to be quite difficult.
Well, you would think.
Certainly not upsetting my
Planet.
My
is not the easiest center to begin with.
It has been quite friendly on the old opposite side of the lane.
Yeah, on the left side, I guess. I'm not going to count that, but the Waxahachie's it's similarly experienced center as well, and so I mean, I guess Planet has newer lanes nowadays, but they do bowl a lot of leagues there, and they have a lot of play. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, if they bomb that, then is it the machine? Is it what is it? But it's pretty odd that at this many places around the country that they're that hard, that low scoring. And should it be that way? Or should it be that way sometimes? Or should it never be that way for the seniors?
Yeah, I mean,
all philosophical.
I was about to say, I think the answer to that is yes. I still always believe that variety is the spice of life, and like having some higher scoring patterns and some lower scoring patterns. I think there's a different skill set. I'm very much against you won a professional tournament when the scores were high, you stink. You won the professional tournament when the scores were low, you're amazing. Like, not necessarily stink, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's somewhat discounted. And it's like, the idea is to knock over more pins than the other guy. And yeah, sometimes we all get a little frustrated when we're averaging 235 and half the field can average 250. I get it. I totally get it. It's also frustrating when someone can average 215 and you can't average 190.
Yeah. I also equally irritated.
Yes. So. I mean, the only difference is when it's like that, it's just a lot easier to blame yourself when the scores are lower.
Yeah.
But like, just overall to me, I just feel like we get too wrapped up in trying to find a answer rather than multiple answers. And
yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Lucas, I think they've gone to that here recently, so everybody's kind of going through a little bit of adjustment period, I believe, and I think that's okay. Yeah. I mean, league doesn't have to be the easiest shot you've ever bowled on in your whole life every single night.
Who the fuck is this guy? Yes, it does.
I'm tired of paying dollars. I'm tired of paying dollars in game 3, though. I can tell you that. Holy cow. Can't throw a strike. My team has one lane where they can all throw a strike and I have to pay $1. And then the next lane, if 2 guys don't strike, everybody pays $1. And if only one guy strikes, everybody with the guy that struck once pays $1.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I had 289 one game. The last game I paid dollars the first 7 frames.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Spendy.
Yeah, like for a league. What's going on here? I didn't
What
come here
did
to
you
lose
do with
money.
those dollars? Do you save them or do you pay them out on the night?
Well, most of them were Alan's already, so
Okay, because
I'd won them from him already. So it was
because we used to collect, like for opens and like hang-ins and stuff, and we always used to go out to a really nice steak place. We had a 5-man team, so by the end of the year, we just collected it up.
We have a card game, so it just goes in the middle, and half goes to high game, half goes to the card game.
Fair enough. Like I say, when we did it, it always got to the point where it was like, everybody could bring somebody with them.
Oh,
and
we had this discussion last week about because it got off to all these like these leagues, the Vegas leagues. Is kind of how it started, and then what they have these cruises, and the other guy on our team, Hanson, he's like, I barely survived these 3 hours. I literally try and get out here as soon as I can after being with you guys that long. There is no way I want to be on a boat for 4 days with any of you guys. So, so even dinner, I think we're probably stretching it with this crew.
Yeah, we actually liked each other. And it also made it a little easier for the bowlers on the team who didn't bowl as well.
Yeah. They got something back at the end.
Because it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's supposed to be a bit friendly and a bit of fun. And if one person's paying 15 or 18 bucks a week and the other person's paying $3 a week and they're getting the money, it then becomes just a little bit less where it's not as much fun.
Our high game's handicapped and the card game evens things out because it doesn't matter.
Oh, 100%. Like it's like I say. Hey, Joe, nice to see you. Hopefully you'll be up there cheering Chris on this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Just detox my infinite physics. I was wondering if the Identity BCP would be a shiny version of it. Looks angry, it has the same cover, I believe. Thoughts? I really have been using that Identity, that newer Identity, quite a bit. I really like where it fits for me. I actually think it might be a little bit of a step up from your infinite physics now, because that infinite physics, you've had it for more than a minute.
Do I need to dig that thing back out?
Sorry?
Do I need to dig that Identity back out?
I find it very useful. I mean, I used it in Longview. I've used it several times.
Can you crack the cover or no?
Yeah, cracked it just a little bit. It's good off my attention star. When the attention star gets a little bit down the a little bit lazy down the lane, like just bogs down a little bit, I go straight to that Identity, probably punch a little left, and then it peels off it pretty good. So yeah, I've quite liked that one. I didn't mind the first one either. I thought that was pretty decent ball, but then I basically the reason why I drilled the Identity was because Gary had a dozen or more left, and I was trying to help him out a little bit. And then in the end, I'm going to swap out another couple of balls with him and take 2 more off him and just put them in the stash. Because, like I say, I've got to use it quite a few times over the last 6 or 8 weeks of bowling tournaments. Maybe even a little bit further back than that. So
it is symmetrical, right? Though, where the
it's
asymmetrical.
It's
small. It's small asym, right? Okay.
So
it could be an updated version. That's not a terrible call.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be more angular than your infinite physics, and maybe you need to put a little bit more surface on your infinite physics, and then have the Identity kind of fit. If it's a little bit too jerky off the back of the pattern, just slightly crack the surface, and then I think that Identity will be like kind of a slightly quicker version of your physics when it was new, and then you have a little bit more surface on the physics to gap them. But yes, I think you could have some good success with that, especially if you can find a deal on one, because there's a decent amount of them. I definitely wouldn't pay a premium
of that on the house shots for sure.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't pay a premium for one because there's plenty of them around.
Eli, I think this is a great question. I don't feel like that's just you. I think sometimes we feel the same too, and there's a lot of balls in the same range, and sometimes a little confusing when they're all shiny and they're all kind of on top of each other. but I think they're starting to get them spaced out a little better to where they're not, both brands aren't coming out with the same balls on top of in the same categories and alternating shiny and dulls and those kind of things. But yeah, I mean, it's what do we got? Regional in St. Louis, also really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
like
never really broke down in Waxahachie. I watched Linda Bowl, and I mean, it didn't really matter. Chris Warren was there, Tony Frank. There's guys that can hook it that couldn't really hook it, and they never did really blow up. It was so
bowling on 49 foot, flat 31 mils, US Open Pattern 3 2024. Thinking about going to Home Depot for 80 grit sandpaper. I think that would be a horrific idea. Just because I think it'll make the pattern way harder. Because think about it like this. We do this quite often, but 31 mils of oil sounds like a lot until they basically oil every board with the same amount of oil. So, like on a house shot, they're only oiling like half the lane, maybe a little bit more. Now they're oiling the whole lane. So you've taken the oil that's really concentrated and you've stretched it sideways. So you've already reduced how much push there is on the lane because it just isn't, it's not as thick. And then think about it the opposite way. Like a normal pattern is somewhere around 41, 42 feet now. Well, now you've dragged the oil another 7 feet down the lane. Now, I know this is a little simple because they don't necessarily oil the whole way down and it's buff and whatever. But like, it's still like the oil is way thinner now because of how flat it is and how long it is. So if you use more surface, what you're going to find is the ball's going to hit the lane, hook, get offline, and make it almost impossible to hit the pocket. And on that pattern, what you're really trying to create is a way to miss a little left and it hold. Because you're not going to create missing right and it come back. So I think you would be surprised, but ball speed is going to be way more important than surface.
100%. 100%. The guys that bowl best on the long patterns are not, it's not about surface and even rev rate. It's way more about your ability to control your speed enough that that you can get balls through the front because there's not as much oil in the front, especially relative to how much there is down lane, and let it pick up and actually get through the pins.
Sorry. Our friends over at Bowlers Mart have High Road 40s on heavy discounts worth picking up. We like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bowlers Mart's had a couple of good deals recently. They blew out some rock stars also, which are like I think fairly useful balls. So yeah. I think that's definitely a good option. Sorry.
Unless you're bowling a junior gold, college, the Masters, or PWBA, they haven't changed a bit. Yeah.
Oh shit. That's that. Chad's been watching the show too much. What's the rules for urethane? It depends.
Virginia says regional to the north, in the west and northwest have been hard also. Yeah, I think the patterns are it's just time for a little readjustment, and the Legends patterns need to soften up. And that's not necessarily just for the seniors, but some buildings require patterns that are a little bit more ratio to be playable. And also, I don't really think it's bad to have high scoring tournaments than low scoring tournaments and the medium ones. Moving around a little bit. Yeah, tell that to Plano Bowl. It's the easiest pattern ever. Thomas C2, how are you? Question for Chris. I'm going from a 12-pound Storm Mix to a 15-pound Columbia Crazy Antics. Whoa. I've thrown that. Is that too much of a weight gap? To throw at the same time,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to throw both at the same time. But as you get balls that fit, assuming that I'm looking through to see if there's, oh yeah, okay. I see the other part. It says I'm 5 foot tall. My release is it's like PDW's release. Well, congrats on that. The weight part is not so much height. I guess it's probably more about strength. But provided you can hold it at your side without like leaning over, it's probably just time to go to around 15 pounds and then kind of build your complementary balls around that.
Yeah, I mean, I know people have used light spare balls in the past. I just think that if you're at the stage where you're learning to do anything apart from this, I think that having such a big gap is going to be really difficult with timing. Like because the lighter ball is going to feel like you're yanking it down and everything. And you said also starting to learn to hook it. Any tips? For me, it when you go from not ever being able to hook it to starting to hook it is about the only time I ever feel like standing at the foul line swinging the ball makes any sense at all.
And with that lighter ball too.
Yeah, EJ actually had because he was trying to help my buddy Jared out, and he said something that really resonated with me, and I'd never really thought about it in those terms. But EJ said that for him, the key to starting to learn how to hook it is being able to feel the gap between your thumb coming out and your fingers coming out. And like understand, like feeling as you're swinging it, you feel the thumb clear before you touch it with your fingers. And I'd never really like thought that through in my mind. Like it just, to actually talk to somebody about that, like, like trying to make that gap bigger in their mind, like have a definite gap between thumb and fingers. And I think that really does help if you like standing at the foul line and like feeling like you feel the ball come off your thumb and then onto your fingers, even if you're only rolling it straight to start with, getting that separation between thumb and fingers, I think is very important.
I agree. I actually heard a rumor, fairly well-placed rumor, but I believe September 30th is a target. We routinely miss those. So
are we talking about bowling now?
Yeah, PBA release, PBA schedule. So yeah, I believe it's supposed to be the end of the month. So let's hope. And along with that, there will be whatever prior entry
Yeah.
Will level be used more? I mean, it only really affects 2 tournaments. The PBA rule is pretty much still the PBA rule.
And
the majority of our events.
And also, we've not really used the urethane. The right-handers certainly haven't used the urethane almost at all at the US Open the last couple of years. So we're bowling the same bowling center. So
it could be. For me personally, I'd much rather throw a reactive ball with some of the releases and drillings that I used to use than throw a level.
Depending on how he recovers from when he messed his foot up, I actually think that this urethane rule could be very good for Matt Sanders at the US Open. Because I'm almost certain that they're going to do something different with the lanes. Because why would they have got rid of the urethane if we're just going to do the same patterns?
Yeah.
And I think that Matt bowls very well in that center in Indy. And I don't think he necessarily is one of the guys who is like absolutely welded in urethane when he's bowling on some of those patterns. Like he did, like I've seen him plenty of times using reactive balls. So I actually think that he could do he could be a person to watch out for in that tournament with no urethane. So, sorry, Matt, you're going to come 103rd. I just jinxed you.
Yeah, right. I think this is an interesting question. Eric says, when a new ball race shows up at your guys' store, the ball companies expect you to throw them in upcoming tournaments. Do the ball companies impact what's in your bag weekly?
I can say with Storm, and I can't really speak for any other company because I haven't really been at the point with any of those other companies where it mattered. Storm have never, ever, ever, ever been upset with me, whatever ball I chose to use. Whatever gives you the best opportunity to win. The only thing that we have right now is that we get sent balls for making videos. So that's the only thing that the expectation that we have when we get the balls. So no, if anything with the video balls, Storm are actually more irritated by us using them.
If you use them early. Yeah.
Yes, because it causes no end of shit to the office. The Lucy being a prime example, when a couple of the players have the balls and a bunch of the guys don't have the balls. It's kind of fucked up when the guys use them because
I have two balls now. I'm going to do videos with Roddy this afternoon, neither of which I can throw Saturday. It's not really a TV show, but a live streamed PBA event, which, by the way, is 5 Eastern on PBA's YouTube channel. So those of you that talk about should be for free, it's for free. You can also watch the 4-game qualifying thing if you are really destitute to watch anything.
I was about to say, if you're really short of something to do. What day is the qualifying on?
It's also Saturday.
Saturday
at 1. And it's basically just for order. I guess you get to pick your order. And then, I mean, the real point of it is you're going all the way there it's so you don't just go there and throw one ball.
So,
but
quick tactical point. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but if you were to win the 4-game shootout, what position would you like to occupy? Bear in mind, how many people are there?
There's 8.
There's 8.
I don't know that I've really thought about this much. Third.
Because
I feel like you're pretty well equipped to deal with the chaos that handles around all these kind of shows. And even though it's not a live show, it won't be as chaotic.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to go first.
I was about to say, I don't think going first is good because for the simple fact that if you get in a roll-off,
it's forever since the last time you threw a shot. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think last is the best, although
somewhat for the same reason. There's some strategy to being there later. Yeah.
I was about to say, there is kind of part of me that does kind of like the last because there's a lot of people. I think it's a lot less important when there's only 8. When there was like 12. 15 people or whatever they had, or 18 people or whatever it was, I actually quite liked the last because there was a certain time when you could just pitch it at the headpin and just sit back down. Because in those first few rounds, somebody always got 6 or 7. So, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So you're kind of wanting to pick one of the spots kind of more towards the middle.
Yeah. And somewhat just, I don't want to wait forever to get the first shot off.
Yeah.
Because that'll probably be the longest wait. Mm-hmm. And like you say, you don't want to wait forever if you end up in a roll off.
Yeah.
And then as you go, you're going to whittle off from both sides, and it'll keep you somewhere in the middle and be able to put pressure on or kind of know what the situation is. I don't know. All strategies are great as long as, when you win, and then they're all completely idiotic when you lose. So, that's but to go back on his, about balls, I've never felt a lot of pressure. There's been times when you had to throw the new ball on TV, but not necessarily during the week.
But not with Storm.
No. And this is a long time ago. And
Yeah,
this is with it. It's largely gone away because there was less introductions. And it might be some, Ion Max type ball. Again, it wasn't Storm, but they had to throw that ball on TV and then they hooked that week. Well, you look like an idiot because the ball has relatively no chance to look good. And so they've stopped doing that for the most part. At different times, they want it to be current or in the line, and I think there's still encouragement that way.
Yeah,
but I don't think we're immune to the Christmas ball any more than anyone else. So new balls get a first chance, especially when we're at home bowling things that like league and those kind of things for a little while.
I think what Storm want is for people to win.
Yeah.
So if you use the new ball or the old ball and you lose, I think that's the worst case scenario. I think that, ironically enough, I do think that it makes a difference for the visibility of it. So I think the worst case scenario is to be the guy who doesn't make TV almost ever, and then go out with the ball that's been discontinued for 3 years and then bowl 160. That's like ultimately the worst of all worlds.
The triple dip of didn't do really any good, didn't bowl well, and then didn't really
get the new ball out
here in Dublin. This is a good one. Ion Max Hyperdrive Proton Physics. Hard to figure out covers, cores, RGs, and the hierarchy of the Hyperdrive. Sorry.
Want something above the Proton Physics for sport? The answer for something above the Proton Physics is the Ion Max.
Yeah.
Proton Physics for me was definitely cleaner. I think the Proton Physics and Hyperdrive are much more comparable. I think the hierarchy kind of makes up for the cover being a little stronger.
It makes the Hyperdrive a little more responsive at times.
Yeah.
So I think you have them in order right there.
Yeah. I mean, Proton Physics for me was a very, very useful ball. Me and Frankie liked it quite a bit. We could use it in a lot of ways, a bit the way the Ion Max is, how it's very strong, but you can actually keep using it when the lanes get a little drier, because it's so smooth that it's in the kind of the way urethane is, where it's like, it doesn't necessarily get to the point where when the lane gets drier, it doesn't necessarily get worse because it just kind of hooks the same amount all the time. Sort of, until the oil gets down the lane. The Proton Physics was a bit like that, how the Ion Max is, where you could always make it okay to be in play. You could probably be in something better, but it wasn't like for me, the Gem was a really good example of that. Like, it was great. Oh my God, it's so out of play. It's unbelievable. Like, I can't stop plaque 10ing with it. And yeah, I think the Hyperdrive gets a little bit like that for me, where it's great. It's goddamn, that's not the right ball anymore. Whereas I don't necessarily see that as much with the Ion Max. And that's sometimes actually harder to change ball when it's like that, especially when the scoring pace isn't as high, because you're kind of like, well, I'm really controlling the pocket, and yeah, I'm leaving a few flat 10s, but like all these other guys are changing balls, and they're 4-9 in or big 4 or whatever. So yeah, like Chris said, this is probably a pretty good order for how they are. But if you want something that's definitely stronger than Proton Physics, for me, that's definitely Ion Max. I tend to struggle with short, medium patterns and like using urethane the first game. But after that is where it's rough for tournaments. Do you guys go with what worked on your original pair or adjust? I say and adjust. Really depends on who you're following. Because if you use urethane the first game and the people that you're following aren't using urethane, then the odds are that the lane is probably going to be fairly okay to use the urethane again the next game, because the lane hasn't really changed as much. Because principally, most things that stop urethane working is when there's just too much oil down the lane. And it kind of gets a little bit too forward, like it burns up and then just is lazy down the lane. So who you're following is going to have a big, dictate a lot on how long you can stay in the urethane for. So I'm always going to adjust from my first pair to my second pair, because I'm not bowling on both pairs. So it's always going to be a bit different. I think. Does that kind of make sense, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. That's what makes urethane eventually go away. It just gets too tight down lane. So,
yeah. But I mean, regardless of whether you're using urethane or not, like your first pair to your second pair, unless you're bowling on like the absolute Great Wall of China, you're going to have to make some kind of adjustment, because, like I say, you bowled on the one pair, and it almost doesn't matter who you're following. They're not going to be bowling the lane exactly the same way as you are, front to back or side to side. So, yeah. I think the tougher the lanes are, the more you have to adjust. The easier the lanes are, the less you're going to have to adjust lane to lane.
Yeah. All right. Just a couple of questions I wanted to get back through. Larry says, I'm coming back from
Larry
from
Bird.
cancer. Huh?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. That's right. Good jumper. Coming back from cancer, 69, was always over 200, now in the low 170s. Ball speed way down. Would it be a new ball that might work better? Lightning blackout now. Are you looking for it to get longer down the lane, or you just need it to hook less overall? Like, is your lightning blackout rolling out? If it's rolling out, then maybe the high road 40, something like that, that's clean, or tropical surge will get further down the lane and save energy. If you need something smoother than that, I mean,
I always think the hustles
yeah.
fit. Hustle lightning blackout is almost like, I would determine, like hustle plus, because it's a similar-ish core, but has got a much stronger cover. So if that ball's like, too strong for you, I think hustle would be a decent step down, and then just determining if you want something smoother, go with one of the duller ones, and if you want something that's a little longer, go with one of the shinier hustles. Would be kind of where I would fit on that.
Okay. Terry Metzner, Davenport College, bowls on sports shots to practice on, then they put out the house shot for league. Seems like the house shot is different. We certainly feel like there's a lot to house shot memory, and whether that's because of what's on the lane or what's left in the brush on the machine and how long that lasts. But we certainly feel the scoring pace changes considerably when we bowl on a tour pattern and then the pro-am's on a house shot. The flip sides happens too. I think when they put out sport patterns, then you put out a house shot over the top of it, like they used to do for the team challenges back in the day. The Friday sweepers were not that hard. They were actually blended. But then Saturday they got harder, and then Sunday they got really hard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just think
brush or lanes or heating up of the surfaces, or
I just don't think there's either not as much understanding of the issues, or there's a complete understanding of the issues and they just don't want to address them.
Or maybe
it's one or the other.
Maybe it's just too expensive to handle what's relatively a minor issue for 98% of bowling.
Yeah. But like to say that the lanes are even close when they do things like when they put the house shot out and put the pattern back over it is just incorrect, isn't it? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't profess to know what they're doing or what they could do to answer it. Yet these guys who push the lane machine, who average 190, feel it that necessary to tell me that I'm doing it wrong, is kind of one of the most frustrating things in the world. Like, I'm saying to you that the playing surface I'm playing on doesn't feel like it's similar to how we played on it last time.
Yeah.
I no idea why that's the case. That's your domain. You then telling me, oh, I played them wrong is the dumbest thing you could have ever possibly said. So, but there are plenty of bowlers who feel like necessary to say, oh, they should have done this many 2-2s, or they should have done this, or they should have done that. Like, I don't fucking know. Like,
Right.
that's your domain. This is my domain.
When the bowlers aren't qualified for that either. So
I believe that they have, but obviously they're not going to throw away the oil that they had.
yeah, it's once they run out of what they have. I think everything's switching over because whatever Kegel's developed for them is probably cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically for them, and they're buying it in bulk, and so they figure out a way to cut some costs that way. But yeah, if you have a couple of deals left of ice, you're not getting rid of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but that would be like,
yeah,
so against everything that I know from Bowlero.
Yeah,
and so unrealistically unneeded, so to speak. Like, because for 99% of the people who are bowling, or not 99%, but certainly 85% of the bowling that they have that comes through, they don't care what oil they put on the line. They don't even know that they've put oil on the line.
Oh, you notice it. And in theory, you would have started with whatever new at the beginning of the league season. But
yeah, it's not always perfect.
No, it doesn't always work out. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Marcio says, if you figured out which balls you're going to take the World Seniors.
I bowled on a couple of versions already. One of them was at Louisville, and it played pretty tight. And so it looked like more medium to bigger balls. It was a somewhat similar pattern to what they bowled on last year at the Pan Ams. I think JJ got down to a DNA coil was the weakest ball he threw. So they were on the tight side of. And then I bowled at ITRC yesterday. And for some reason, unbeknownst to me, or probably God himself, they have terrain there. And I went, and it hooked miles more than what it did at so this blue oil that they have is pretty slick, plays pretty tight for one. I didn't get a chance to go down again, but my usual setup isn't really going to change much. Ion Max is going to be at the top of my bag. I'm going to have a heavy control ball. I'm going to have another probably fairly big ball behind it. There's a new one coming out that may make the bag that fits. I may take a shiny Hyperdrive as kind of a middle, a strongish middle ball. And then I got to decide between like Ion Pro Solid.
High Road 40.
Well, that'd be in the low end. And I'll probably end up bringing more than 6 because we can rotate some in and out, or a ball in and out. So I may bring 8, but High Road 40 might not be in play. The Zen Gold is getting some play for me here lately. I got a Vibo, so there may be some things cycling in and out of there, but that's kind of where things are at right now.
Okay.
As much as I've liked Rock Stars, when the front hooks, they become not really usable. It's getting hard to put it in a 6-ball bag for me.
I was about to say, also is one of those balls that I feel like, for me anyway, the lanes have to be pretty difficult for that ball to be useful. I don't feel like I strike enough with that one. Like
when it's good, it's probably the best. It can be the best ball in my bag. So I love having it around. But when it bleeds out in the front, then I can't get it to hook. So
yeah, I feel like that's one of the balls that me and you aren't really necessarily on the same page with. Like for me, that's a ball that's like it's okay, and I can control the pocket with it a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like I'm ever going to shoot a 10-bagger with that ball.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of the opposite for you. Like you feel like you throw it, and if it's striking, you're going to throw 10 baggers, and if it's not, then it's going to be awful. And
ironically, Linda's kind of on the same. For like, it doesn't fool her, and when it's good, it's really good.
Yeah, and I just haven't had an opportunity for it to be really good for me. It's just been meh.
Here's a guy that knows on the Bowlero plane. Once they run out of oil, they have to switch. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
Larry, nice to see you again. Thanks for the 512. Hook 'em.
what about the
Yes.
817? Never the 817? The 972?
Well, like I say, you gotta find somebody who lives in that district.
Right? No, but they know me.
People know me.
They know me. They don't. Like...
My
Can you tell
apartment
us what balls you're
smells of
filming with
rich
today?
mahogany.
I cannot, but one of them you will see
Tomorrow.
pretty soon.
Tomorrow. Storm have an event tomorrow.
Yep.
So,
and there's even a Hyperdrive Pearl video somewhere lurking in the annals of Dropbox.
The what? Sorry.
There's a Hyperdrive Pearl video somewhere.
He's throwing shade at you, Roddy, or me, or anybody but him.
Well, no, there's plenty of me because I just don't know how to edit. So, there's also that. But
oh shit!
We did use this video.
To be fair, Chris, we did actually use the footage though,
sort of,
because we used it on the show.
Yeah.
And you also told me this ball's okay, and then I reviewed the footage, and you struck every single ball with it, didn't miss. And I don't even think you realized that you hadn't missed.
I did. I didn't know what to say because I thought maybe this ball was in the middle, and it was one of those things like, holy cow, it just keeps going through the pins no matter what I try to do. Yeah. I may have misread this ball in the first 10 shots that I threw it before then. Like,
you were just throwing all the other balls. Well, this one's good too. 8.
Oh, yeah.
This one looks good. 9. Well, let's throw that hyperdrive again. Strike.
Let's give him my Darren Tang thing. No, this ball does this. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you can clearly see this ball does this. Clearly?
Really?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. And I feel sorry for people when they do that because I know how difficult it is to make some of those videos. And it's also almost the worst thing you could do is find information about what the ball's supposed to do. Because then when it doesn't, then you're like, is it me? Is it the center? Or is it them?
Right.
Adam, nice to see you. Where would y'all like to see the PBA Tour go in 2026? Well, I'd like to see it go to
Wichita, Erie, Medford, Jonesboro, Bayside.
Oh, I was going to be way more selfish than that.
Yeah,
I was going to go Astro, Highland, Emerald Bowl.
Want some every Dave Small Center. And
that's only if I wanted a road trip. I was thinking just like
home games,
Texas, maybe a stretch. We might stretch it. Have a couple of events in Phoenix just for the warmth.
Dan's house.
Well, we could have the finals at Dan's house.
Yeah. By the way, somebody asked if he had a sponsor when he went out. He sold his glass company for. I don't know, well more than my tour earnings. So he didn't need a sponsor. So, and not last year. I mean, forever. Probably more than I don't know, but it was successful. Yeah, I would be surprised. I was surprised when I saw the PBA post about it was down to 2 and then him and Cam, because I really thought Darren Ong was the other legitimate candidate.
He's not American.
Well, we've had a few of you filthy foreigners win Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year before, so I don't know.
Hasn't been many Rookie of the Years, to be honest.
Probably not, and that has come to how many shows you make, and it's what you see.
It also comes down to the guys they thought were going to be the answer before it started.
Yeah, he didn't bowl all year, and the guys that vote on things on tour, at least, value. Yeah, he was a one-off, and he might be fantastic. But
yeah, I didn't think Cam did himself very much justice last year on tour, if I was honest.
He got off to a great start, but he didn't bowl as well as his potential is. And so we'll see more of him. But the stats.
Did he make a show? I don't think he made a show.
He didn't. He would, was it Connecticut? He qualified super high, second to Davidson, I think there. And I thought, Maybe not.
Oh, you
but
don't mean Connecticut, you mean Delaware.
Delaware,
Okay,
yeah, it's
where
all
the
the
fuck
same
did
to
we
me.
where did we bowl in Connecticut?
Yeah. I don't know, like
Yeah, it's up
1999
there.
U.S. Open. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the Northeast. They're all
I mean,
together.
he bowled pretty well at US Open as well. It's just
Yep.
like I say, I didn't think he did himself much justice like for his year. So I mean, hell,
Yeah.
he had a top 10 finish, which would put him ahead of several people who've won Rookie of the Year in recent times.
Yeah. It's not always a great predictor of success.
Well, also, it's also not a great predictor of actually bowling any good that year that they got voted Rookie of the Year, because
Yeah,
sometimes there's just nobody to vote for.
Well, and now, I mean, they're going to a deal to where I think it was 3 tournaments in a year and PTQs counted. So Fiore's rookie year was 2 years ago, I think. And if the rule existed now, this would have been his rookie year. I think that what's happened is you have to get into 5 events, I believe now, and the PTQs that you don't get out of don't count as events. You have to get into the field proper. So, but the World Series would count. So
the PBA should come to Sacramento because reasons.
All right. I was going to wrap up with the league question too.
I would love to see the PBA come to Baton Rouge. I actually, to be honest, Baton Rouge was way nicer this year when we went than it was when I'd been previously with Tina when she bowled. I was pleasantly surprised. I also thought they did the Raising Cane's Center did a nice job. We went when one of the Disney shows were on, and they were sending all of the Disney parents out of the parking lot that the bowlers were supposed to park in, like actively telling them they weren't allowed in. So that was a nice deal, because that doesn't happen very often, even though it's supposed to.
Right.
So yeah, just for that made Baton Rouge nice.
Louisville, yeah. I don't know. Wolf lived there, and that's how I pronounce it. So I'm just going with that. So, this is a good league question. So we're going to leave this one for Stu, and maybe we'll wrap up with this.
When the lane's cliff, do you parallel into the puddle? Never. Like, I would never do that. Or get left and slow down. I tend to lean towards getting left and slowing down and using a bigger ball. But like I say, it does depend. And it depends how the cliff comes, because the cliff can come where it's like a parallel cliff or a non-parallel cliff, depending on who you bowl with.
Yeah, we've seen both of them the last couple of weeks. The one thing I will say that has changed with this Bowlero Blue Oil is that the cliff has been real, and balling down and just making it roll in there has not been the move. I'd do the walk of shame. The league walk of shame. I was about 15 frames into not throwing a double, and so I had to take 2 balls out and bring one in. And I went to an Ion Max in league, actually.
Well,
and it worked.
So we bowled the first couple of weeks on the new oil, not really realizing it was new oil.
Yeah,
and,
same.
We bowled kind of straighter because they were kind of tight, and bowled really well. And then the lanes were really bad. So this week, I decided that I was going to start way further left, hopefully, breaking down some of the cliff before we started. Yeah, it didn't help. I'd bowled really well again the first game, and then it kind of disappeared. So I had 250, 217, and then I had the back 4 Houdini'd for 190. So, yeah, I don't know. I know that 5-man team is much worse for the cliff than 3-man team. I can tell you that.
We had 1 week with a lot of rev rate, and they broke down, and we moved in, and they were going straight or late, moving back to the right and being firm got me out of jail a little bit. But going to the bigger ball, which we've talked about on here, most of the time I just use my 1 power to make it roll in that puddle and blend it out with my hand. And that's enough. It's not enough on this stuff.
Hey, bro.
So,
Yeah. Thank you. So,
and yes, this does need to be. It does need to be, along with about 4 other things that he says on a regular basis. But some of those aren't really PG enough for T-shirts. But but make me laugh every time. And some people irritated. Sorry about that.
oh well.
Oh, all right. Yesterday it was 2. Ironically, they called him the day before. They said it was 2, but I'm not sure what was going on there. All right, congrats, Ryan. It's official. I don't have a cool iPhone. Second iPhone I can do that with. So
Yeah.
Doesn't do a thing. Oh, look, he's so fancy. Anyway,
Oh, God.
Beef will be back with you next week. I will not be with you next week, and so he will have somebody, I'm sure, much funnier, better looking, and younger than me on with him.
I mean, there's
Or not.
for the younger than you. There's a lot of people.
It's everyone, basically. Yeah.
Didn't you need to thank Andrea for something with your vacation?
I did. She was our travel planner, and she did a very good job, and she saved us some dollars. Yeah. Can you do that for me? Thanks. I can't do those cool things. So, and thankfully she's not as cheap as her husband, so we got to go on a nice vacation. But she did save us some money along the way. So, yeah, maybe it'll be Beef and Barnzy without not the old head. So.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to get Ryan on, we need to do a late night version. He's not too spunky in the morning.
He's up. He's going to a wedding. He's leaving for a wedding today. So
no, I just meant just in general. He's quite quiet during the mornings and
you can fire it up a little bit. Yeah, we can.
We need to. Yeah.
But yeah, go see Andrea with all your travel needs. She's fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. All right. When I see Paul and Connor this weekend, they can let me know how thankful she was that I made you do it again.
In between now, please support the sponsors that support us and Andrea. Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Coolwick, Bowler Smart, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum Ford. See you guys in a couple weeks. Have a good one.
Good luck.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, LBC. There we go.